Welcome to episode 144 of the Beefy Boys Breakdown. We're going over UFC Fight Night Singapore, Holloway versus Korean Zombie. We've already gone over the main card, so go check that out on our channel and subscribe while you're at it. We're going over the prelim fights now because we're one of the only shows out there that does every single fight on every single card. We are going to be kind of turning and burning these. I got work here in about an hour, and so we're going to try to just bang through it. But yeah, we don't miss a card. We don't miss a fight.
Yes, sir. That's
Jerking
right.
the curtains here. Yes, sir. Every week. Jarno Evans plus 130, Sung Woo Choi minus 155. Ben, fight I didn't necessarily care a ton about, but ended up being a banger. Ended up being super fun as fuck to watch.
Yeah, I'm surprised by the way.
Banger.
Like Sting is actually a name that we know. Kind of surprised he opened up the card like that. Now, that being said, Jarno Aarons was kind of bringing it, too. Very surprised with Jarno Aarons.
Definitely. And Vegas thought this fight would be close. I'll be real. I kind of was sleeping on Jarno Evans. I thought Sung Woo Choi would be able to handle biz, which he ultimately does. But round one was a banger. Scored it for Choi, but both men were having a lot of success. Round two was super close. I gave it to Aarons. It's one of those rounds where he got a knockdown and some pretty good damage off, but Choi pretty much controlled like the whole second half of the round, kind of on some Santos Blanchfield type shit. But
right,
nobody got any knockdowns in that fight, unfortunately. But and then round three, I thought was Choi's essentially best round of the fight. I think Aaron's kind of the damage had kind of taken its toll. He got another knockdown, but this time with cap kicks. Yeah, I mean, I thought the right man won. I thought it was 29-28, though, which two judges did. One judge went 30-27, which I could see a path to that, but I think that's a little wild. I don't know. Did you give a round to Aaron?
Oh, yeah, for sure, the second round. I was going to say I could see 30-27, but no, yeah, that second round had to be the Aarons.
Yeah, I agree. I thought it was a good round for Aaron's. That uppercut knockdown was slick. That shit was like a highlight. That was super dope. Just like a lead uppercut.
Super slick. And
just scooped it right under that chin.
It looked picture perfect.
Definitely.
But wasn't enough to do quite enough because come round three, I scored it for Choi.
Yeah, definitely Choi. You know, dropped him with the leg kicks, got a lot of control time. Just won the fight very smartly, especially in a close fight like that. He secured that third round. Yeah, good win for Choi. That Vegas nailed that money line. That was a minus 155 plus 130 all day. Like they nailed that.
Yeah, nailed that like a split hog.
Yes, sir. Keep it pushing here. We got Liang Na plus 390 taking on JJ Aldrich minus 520. Na moving up from strawweight. She should probably move back down. Just because, I mean, JJ Aldrich is not the highest level flyweight. And flyweight's probably the best women's division. And JJ Aldrich pretty much had her way with Na. I mean, which, once again, Vegas nailed the money line. I'll be real. When I saw this money line, I was like, I don't know if JJ Aldrich should be minus 520 over anybody. But they found the person.
Yeah, no shit, huh? I mean, it only took a girl moving up 10 pounds that didn't quite have the physique. But honestly, I thought Liang Na was like kind of maybe more of a dog, but was taking like the wrong approach at points.
Yeah, it's a pretty just dog shit technique. You know what? And this, man, I hate this. We find ways to just dunk on Juliana Miller. But like, I felt the same way watching Na when I watched Miller. Just like, this isn't the level of like the highest level, you know? Like, this is like, it felt like I was watching like a regional fight or a contender series fight. Like, it just didn't have that high end skill level. Yeah, so it was like some LFA level skills. I'm sorry.
It felt like an LFA fight, which for a girl to be minus 520, and I mean, yeah, I know that she gets a finish here, but essentially, I didn't think it was the best finish, right? Because Na got the really nice takedown to start the round, got her back.
Yeah, I'll say that takedown was so dope that it like actually made me rethink, like, well, maybe she's just having an off night because I didn't know she possessed that level of skill. Like that takedown was high level. All the announcers were like very impressed by it. It was slick as shit. It was athletic as shit. It was fast as shit. So it's like, where was that? Was she just not getting her reads? Was she having an off night? You wouldn't think it'd be the weight cut weight cut moving up 10 pounds. So like, I don't know what other excuses it could be.
It really
But
seemed like the weight was a factor, though, because it seemed like Na was getting to the right position a lot of the time, but just couldn't maintain it due to like lack of strength or explosiveness in the position.
yeah, but I see what you're talking about. I'll say Aldrich's ground and pound in round 2 was really aggressive and super active. She ends up getting the finish at 4:49, and I don't know, bro. I love when a woman's like fight style is not snoozy, especially at flyweight. There's so many of these girls that just go out there and clinch control and top control and just snooze it the fuck up. That and there's also like high level strikers, but you really like the way Lee Zhang, we just saw it like the high level ground and pound from the women. I just ultra appreciate. You just don't always see it.
I agree. I also thought that it took her a long time to go to that ground and pound. Speaking of which,
Yeah, but once she did, I mean, she was getting after it a little bit. I don't know. I just appreciate whenever it was like, oh, the women's fight just isn't snoozy. They really go for it. I don't know. I shout out to JJ Aldrich. Probably one of the better performances of her career. I mean, she has some decent wins, but she also has a lot of losses. So
I guess my takeaway is I don't know. I wasn't the most happy with that fight. 2 judges scored the first round of Liang Na.
that's a little wild to me.
Yeah, I
mean,
had
she
a
got the
10-9
takedown, but she
Aldrich.
got it reversed, and then Aldrich got off the ground and pound more and one. Now I got like no damage off really in one. I don't really get that at all. I wanted, they need to move Na back down to straw. They just need to do Liang Na versus Juliana Miller. Loser goes
Losers,
to LFA or
losers
whatever.
out of here.
Literally, like who has the skills to be here? Like, what are we doing? Let's keep it pushing here. We got Yusaku Kinoshita, only 23 years old. These young Japanese fighters are minus 135, taking on the debuting Billy Goff, plus 115 at welterweight. And bro, Billy Goff going to change his nickname to Wheelbarrow, bro. And you see, as I actually remember his Contender Series fight, it looked just like this. Or the comeback kid, dude. This guy is just the rally master. He loses the start of every fight in rallies.
I don't remember his last fight.
He fought in the Contender Series. I believe I watched it. It was almost identical. He was getting the dog shit kicked out of him, and then just finds a way. Like, got Wheelbarrow, just this nuts and heart. All balls and heart.
Reason I say it like that was because they referenced it as well. The commentators did, and I was like, man, not everyone watches every Contender Series fight. Kind of hard to remember, in fact, all of them because they run so many. I don't know. Yeah. I'm not trying to argue that the Contender Series feels slightly watered down, especially with O'Malley and Jamal Hill having captured titles recently. But I do think there are a lot of Contender Series guys that aren't even close to the level. Whereas, like, almost every tough winner has at least been UFC caliber.
I think that switched. I think all those UFC caliber guys that would have been on tough, and now we're getting the fucking, once again, just shrapnel for Juliana Miller. She was a fucking tough champion. Brian Battle. Like this new
but those are the dog shit seasons of tough. I'm talking take tough 24 and back.
The past like 3 seasons, but that's what I'm saying. Now it's Contender Series. Those level of guys are
right.
So this season the Contender Series has been gassed.
That's my point, though. Is take tough before Contender Series existed, so those guys couldn't be there. Like I think those people that would win out in that place were very much UFC caliber. Whereas I think that the what we're getting now is very much not quite as much UFC caliber.
Yeah. This season's been pretty gassed, but I got a Contender Series guy and Billy Goff. I'm also a Mark, so there's that.
Not to shit on him. I didn't mean to shit on him like that. I just meant to say like I haven't watched my Contender Series and then I got off my Contender Series rant. But against Yusaku Kinoshita, like I didn't think that he honestly was looking the best at the start of the fight.
No, well Kinoshita fucking lands a clean, unblocked head kick. Like at the very start of the round.
Goff can eat a shot, though. He can eat a fucking shot.
Yeah, bro, heart, chin, and balls. Like it's not like style bender level skills we're talking about. He's just a heart and balls guy.
Yeah, but who's the other white guy that fights like 55? That's just the most savage. Has the mustache. He just throws Trevor Weeks. Peak.
Weeks.
Trevor Peak.
Peaks, Weeks, something like that. Yeah.
Trevor Peak.
Yeah, you're right. There's a little.
He reminds me of Trevor Peak a little bit here, just like Just country savage. Like you can either beat his ass, but he's always gonna throw piss missiles.
But I'm here for that on like prelims, bro. That's what I want to see on a prelim. I'm not trying to see some like high level split decision on a prelim. Like, let's get some blood and guts. Let's get some heart and balls, and let's get to this main card. But yeah, this fight, first round comeback TKO actually drops him with a straight wide body shot, which was nasty. Just folds him, and it wasn't even a liver shot. It was like a solar plexus, a straight right to the body.
I liked it because the first one he threw, he hit him on the arm and was like, "Fuck it, I'll throw it again." And he just turned his body enough and was like, "Yeah," and just hit him right in he threw it in the exact same spot. It was just that Kinoshita moved enough to eat it right in the center of the chest. And you could tell it knocked the whole wind out of him, where he was just like.
Because usually you see a looping hook to the liver, or a digging body cut or uppercut to the body. It was you rarely see the knockdown / knockout with a straight right hand to the body. That's pretty nasty, pretty dope. But like I said, I don't know, was it fluky? I don't know, because he lost 99% of that round and then just landed that one shot. But there's been guys that have been able to make careers out of that, so it's definitely a risky strategy, But yeah, comeback win for Goff. Hell of a debut. Maybe his next fight he should try not getting almost 10-8'd before he gets the win. But
it'd be smart to probably not get your ass whooped before you win every time.
And then Kinoshita, only 23-year-old, still I'm not out on him. I mean, he was looking fantastic. You could argue he got caught. That head kick was slick. I mean, I think he still has plenty of juice in the tank. I'm down to just keep trotting him out there, see where he's at. Speaking of trotting him out there in welterweight prospects, man, Rolando Bedoya is an interesting one. I thought he's very Trevor Peake-esque too.
Interesting because he should fight at 55. He's just like a Diaz, bro, where he doesn't have any real, clearly doesn't weight train at all. He has no weight muscles, right? No chest, no upper inside shoulders. Doesn't really have the abs. Super soft tits, the softest tits. For a guy that fights at 170 and cuts weight to make it. All I'm saying is,
he looks like he walks around at 173.
Right, exactly. Maybe cuts 5 pounds.
And not in the Joaquin Buckley or Kevin Holland way. In the bro, you need to cut 15 pounds.
And now that being said, it looks like Song Kanon walks around at about 205. His back is fucking huge. He had wings.
Yeah, he was jacked as shit. Interesting enough, though, everything we're saying, it would sound like we're setting up Song Kanon to be a favorite. Vegas was high on Bedoya, which Bedoya is a dog and has a crazy chin. But minus 340 for Bedoya, plus 270 for Song Kanon. There was value to be had here. I guess you can call that hindsight 2020, but
I would argue that Bedoya still looked the better fighter, just fought a shit fight. He fought a sloppy fight.
But that's what I think we're saying the same. We keep saying the same thing, but having different connotations. He looked sloppy. His style is so unrefined. I mean, you talk about Trevor Peake. I mean, you might take it to another level. He fights a 400-pound heavyweight in some gimmick promotion, but he's an undersized welterweight. I don't know. It works for him. He's a dog. He has a chin. Another heart and balls guy. I just think that the level is low. Because Song Kanon, you could argue, mid might be kind. He's not on anybody's radar to
That's exactly what I would say is he's a very middle of the pack welterweight. In fact, maybe a lower middle end welterweight. So,
but I'm saying skill level wise, he was outclassing Bedoya. Now Bedoya, heart and balls, wheelbarrow fighter, heart and balls and chin. For days and was landing and having success, but skill level, level of refinement, Song Kanon was levels above Bedoya, and we're saying Song Kanon is a lower mid-tier welterweight.
Fully agree. I also think Bedoya, for as odd as his style is, because if you notice when he punches, he doesn't necessarily turn his hands in and hook his elbow. He kind of throws his whole arm to the side and locks his elbow and kind of just throws these clubs. And it's really weird. Looks like shit. But his hands are super fast. But it fades. He has 5 minutes of all-star level speed. And then it fades. And when it fades, he starts to get exposed.
Well, you literally just painted the picture of the whole fight, even the scorecards. Bedoya wins the first round with high volume and crazy combinations and damage. And then he fades. Song Kanon knocks him down in each of the following rounds. Nobody had him as 10-8s, though, which because Bedoya would just heart and balls and chin and throw these wild extended combinations. Like he would get dropped, but he would recover. But yeah, he got dropped in 2 and 3. I mean, this was textbook 29-28. All three judges agree. I mean, I don't think
honestly, without the knockdowns, I think Bedoya would win the rounds too for his volume.
Yeah.
But eating those massive shots in both those rounds put him really behind the 8 ball. Round 3, he might have lost without the knockdown because he honestly was I thought fatigued enough in the last 2 minutes to where Kanon was kind of picking and choosing the shots he wanted to land and when he wanted to fight back, and was fighting a really smart fight because Bedoya had to go for it at that point, so that has an effect on it too. But I mean, all things considered, minus 340 was Vegas considering that they thought this would be a first round finish and that was where all that was leaned on? Because I don't think the decision was ever in Bedoya's favor.
Well, the only guys that beat Song Kanon are really good guys. Ian Gary, Max Griffin, to a lesser extent.
Well, Bedoya only had 2 losses coming into this fight out of 17. I think they thought they had a guy.
Yeah, I don't think he's a guy. I mean, he's a dog, but I don't think he's a guy. You know what the fight I want to see next for Song Kanon? I'll throw it out there. Semmelsberger. Him and Semmelsberger would just be a gas fight. They've never fought. Strikers, both tall, both jacked, both have power, both the right-handed piss missiles.
I love that fight. Kanon Semmelsberger. Yeah. That's a fire-ass fight. I also think
Bedoya needs to go to lightweight, like we said. He needs to go to lightweight for sure.
Oh, I think you could have fun fights for Bedoya, like Oleksiejczuk. Oh wait, is Oleksiejczuk? What is he?
No, middleweight. But he's fought at 205 too, so
yeah.
He got middleweight.
Yeah, there's some welterweight I'm thinking of that's like some sluggy striker that's kind of it doesn't matter. Anyway.
Hell, give Bedoya Trevor Peep. We've been shouting him out all episode.
Bedoya should go down to lightweight. That's what he should do.
That's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying. Yeah, Bedoya, he just eye test wise, not a welterweight at all. Did not look like he cut a pound.
No.
Just way
literally kind of looked chubby.
Literally like chubby and short. How are you the shorter guy and the chubby? It was
the weight was in the worst spots too because he had he doesn't have a lot of muscle mass, dog. He's 170 and you're telling me he doesn't have a chest and shoulders. Okay, well, where's all of his weight? It's not his legs. Yeah, so I'm just saying, if you show me a guy that's shredded and you're like, yeah, he actually weighs 205 and he's 5'10", I'm like, yeah, he's a fire hydrant. You show me that guy, I'm like, yeah, 170. That adds up.
Yeah.
Which I never say about fighters. You know what I'm saying? You never say a fighter looks like what they weigh at.
No, for sure, exactly. We'll keep it pushing here. This next fight is a banger. You just brought up Oleksiejczuk. He's up next. We got Mikhail Oleksiejczuk minus 125, taking on Chidi and Njokuani plus 105, middleweight division. I'll be real, going into this one, I didn't bet this card. I would have 1,000% probably bet Njokuani as a straight.
He was dominating.
Yeah, he was dominating.
I was about to say, do we watch the same fight? Because he was dominating.
Yeah. Well, I'm talking about going into it and Vegas. I mean, Vegas got their balls pulled out of the fire on this one because Njokuani was the underdog plus 105,
which was crazy. I thought plus 105 was great money on Chidi.
Great bet, and like I said, that's one of those ones. If you bet that and you lost, you don't even feel bad about it.
No, realistically, if we're going Beefy Boys parlay, which I think we need to jump back into next week, this card was fucked for the time. No one's gonna bet when they can't watch at 3 a.m. in the morning, like a goddamn degenerate. Except DMAC was going to try to Saturday morning, so that's neither here nor there. Which is actually Sunday morning, mismarketing UFC.
I literally freaking took it, I rearranged my work schedule. I was planning to pull the all-nighter and I literally did the wrong night.
What a gas master you are. Gaslighted yourself into it. Now, that being said, I think over-under for this fight, I don't know what it was. I have best fight odds here. Let's just see what they're throwing the over-under at because it had to be.
It had to be 0.5.
Way under, right? Way under. 0.5.
They do that for these guys, bro. If you're giving me 1.5, I would have hammered the under. There's no way. Even at 1.5, I would have hammered the
over
under.
1.5. You're getting under 1.5. I'm sorry, you're getting minus 135.
Yeah, that's a great bet. That was a fantastic bet.
But I'm saying for parlays, we would have taken that. Would have been rewarded.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Oh, anyway, my point in that rant was that we need to get back to the Beefy Boy over-under parlays because our last over-under parlay, we got robbed but I loved it. And it was great value,
Okay.
and I think we can hunt those very well. Like, I think we hunt length of fight better than we hunt winners. No offense to
I
us.
agree. Yeah, fuck us. But man, and also seeing these guys stand, and Joe Kuan is a fucking specimen, bro. Like we talk about Pereira being a big middleweight, and he was. And Joe Kuani looked like a Greek
Well,
god in there,
Oleksiejczuk
dude.
cut 20 extra pounds from what he normally does and still didn't look as good as Njokuani. That tells you a lot.
And Joe Kuani looks like a fucking action figure cartoon toy, bro. Like it is ridiculous. And his striking skill level is elite.
I will say Oleksiejczuk did not lose a lot of chin from cutting the extra 20 pounds. Middleweight should probably be where he stays because he can still eat a shot. He was eating shots from Njokuani. The knees to start.
Well, I remember when Oleksiejczuk fought at 205, he looked like Bedoya did at 170. Like it just was a bad look. Like he was a pudgy, short, like
just a real thick boy.
I mean, honestly, bro, round one. I mean, that might be round of the year. Like at least in the Beefy Boys like Prime Cuts conversation, a nominee. Like that round was insane because I mean, and Joe Kuani, just literally spamming knees to the body, and they weren't like the boring.
Bro, they were fucking rocking.
They were insane. They looked like so painful. Like I was like wincing watching my TV. Like, oh.
Which shout out to Oleksiejczuk's chin body chin.
Yeah, the doughy body chin makes no sense. And then also, I mean, Joe Kuani landed a clean head kick too that finishes like anybody not named Mikhail Oleksiejczuk. Like that was.
And he really didn't even get that wobbled. You know what I mean?
No, he like literally ate it, like Dan Hooker style. Like
kind of looked him down and was like, "That was nice," and then marched forward.
Yeah, for sure. And then once again, Chidi and Joe Kuani pulls this Tyler Santos fumble the bag takedown attempt, gets reversed, and Oleksiejczuk's able to finish it off. They get back to the feet, but that was kind of the big. That's what like. Chidi broke up his own rhythm. You know what I'm saying? Like he was.
I agree entirely.
He gave the fight. He gave the fight. He was.
He gave himself bad, dude. Like got himself on bottom, and then got TKO'd. Like that's literally exactly what happened, and was dominating until it happened.
Yeah, bro, it was wild. I mean,
like it's worse than the Ige thing because Ige wasn't even like dominating the whole fight like that. Like that was a close fight where Ige just kind of fucked himself in a round. This is Njokuani like. Literally dominating 3 minutes.
On his way to a 10-8. On his way to a 10-8 finish.
Right, like dominating 3 minutes, 3.5 minutes arguably of the fight. Yeah. And then giving up 30 seconds and losing because it was just the dumbest mistake you could make going to the ground. Yeah, against a guy with like strong ground and pound. Like Oleksiejczuk is known for strong ground and pound. So getting yourself on bottom is the last place you ever want to be. Made no sense.
No, for sure. Yeah, I mean, one of my favorite rounds of the year. I mean, whether it ends up making the nominee, time will tell. But I mean, I thoroughly enjoyed this fight. Got a bonus performance of the night, well deserved. Could have gave it fight of the night if you ask me. I mean, that was insane. It was only one round, you kind of break precedent, but that was about as much as you could pack into one round into 4 minutes and 16 seconds as humanly possible. It was fucking insane. Shout out Oleksiejczuk. He's a dog. And Joe Kuani, like, didn't really lose any stock. I mean, fight IQ stock, but not like talent stock.
I should say we forgot to note the bonuses. Oleksiejczuk did get a bonus, so did Tafa, and then Zombie and Holloway got fight of the night. We didn't note the last three, obviously, people, but this is the only prelim bonus, Oleksiejczuk.
Yeah, there was a lot of fights that I thought could have got bonuses that didn't. We had a lot of first round finishes.
I honestly thought that perhaps the next fight or the prelim finale would have gotten the bonus, especially from the highlight that we get from the prelim, the highlight prelim.
Yeah, no, 1,000% agree. That's what I'm saying. Like there was a couple people that got screwed on bonuses. Honestly, Toshiami Kazama up next, plus 135, taking on Garrett Armfield, minus 165, bantamweight division. And I'll be real, man, this fight got Armfield on my radar. There's a million bantamweights, and it is so hard to keep track of them all. But this guy, Garrett Armfield, I mean, Vegas had this as a very close fight, fighting on the other guy's home turf.
He was dog walking him. Every punch was landing. Every punch.
Yeah, I don't know if he missed a punch, and they were all hard and all landed clean. Like, Yeah, bro, Garrett Armfield, like if you're watching this fight, if you just watch this fight without knowing the money line, you'd be like, oh, Armfield was the minus 800. It was not competitive at all. It looked like piss poor
He
matchmaking, but
was he
Vegas
was
had it raised or closed.
he was 45 out of 77 on significant strikes, which is almost 60%.
And they were all hard and clean.
That's
Like, I don't think
crazy
any
to
of those.
think. I mean, imagine if someone throws a 5 punch combination and lands 3. Like, you're getting rocked usually. And if he's doing that
Yeah.
over and over and over, like that's his consistent pace.
And like literally none of it was pitter pat bullshit. Like they were
No.
all stiff, fucking clean shots. Well timed too. Like just everything. Like I don't have enough nice things to say about Garrett Armfield. And as far as Kazama goes, I don't know if it was a bad night or a bad week.
Kazama.
I don't know, enough about the guy to like make an excuse for him. Therefore, I won't. I'm gonna just lean on the fact that Armfield might be a fucking guy.
Oh, I know enough about Kazama. He was
Okay.
in the road to the UFC, like just a dog, just like literally a dude that eats a lot of shots and like wins, like grinds out fights. But
He
that
did
was in
not
Road to
grind this one
UFC,
out.
a UFC Asia. I don't
Yep.
necessarily think that those guys are quite the quality that the UFC really is looking for. No offense to him.
Yeah, Garrett Armfield though, his only loss in the UFC is to David Onama up at
On
featherweight.
and he took that fight on 5 days' notice. Literally almost missed his flight because they called him and he was on his family's farm feeding his goats.
Bro, this guy might be a guy. Like I like this guy a lot.
And I
Like I
liked his
believe
post
him.
fight interview. I
Yeah.
loved how he looked in the octagon. I also, you know what else? Like off the charts to me, fight IQ, fight IQ, fight IQ. Whenever he knocked him down and then started to go toward him, then stepped back and was like screaming, like, "No, get up, bitch! Like, get
You
up!"
rarely see that from prelim fighters, right? Prelim fighters usually just fall to the ground, like make the obvious choice. Like, yeah, you rarely see the one fight in the UFC prospect, prelim fighters like making those high IQ decisions. No, you're right, bro. There's a lot to like here. I think you could give him Nakamura next. Now they probably won't, but sign me up for that one. I mean, we didn't see his grappling really tested, so I mean, it's a different matchup. But also, we didn't see Nakamura's chin tested. So, like, I think that's an interesting fight you can make. You could argue, oh, it's too early in both of their careers, blah, blah, blah. I think in bantamweight, that argument goes out the window because the sheer number of bodies. If these guys have to fight each other, we got to get the cream to the top. We got to whittle away. There's 80 bantamweights that are all good. Like, I mean, we got to find out who's better between the Armfields, the Bosharats, the Nakamuras, the Blackshears. It just doesn't stop. You gotta at some point, like these guys we gotta find out. There's too many bodies at bantamweight to like do the wait and see argument.
No, I'm totally with you. Who do you like for Armfield? Like, do you like him to take a big jump, or maybe just keep fighting his way up? Because I'll be honest, I
Well,
don't know that Kazuma is the best like test of like quality. Now, granted, against Onama, he already fought like a high level guy up a
that's
weight.
a huge. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think he's earned. I don't think necessarily favors even the right word, but taking the Onama fight on short notice, performing like this, what I thought could easily have gotten a bonus. Like, I mean, he doesn't deserve something bad. I think he deserves something like good for his career. Like I said, whether that's a Nakamura, whether that's a Basharat, bro, whether that's a Blackshear who just fought on a main card, like that level of guy
See,
might go in rank.
I wonder if all those guys are slightly above. But I mean, I guess I'm wondering if they're
Let's
above
find
him, then
out
he's
though.
not UFC quality. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
because those
let's
guys aren't
find
even top
out.
15. So what am I saying? Yeah, you're
Yeah.
right. You're right. You're right. You're totally right. And I like that. And he believes in himself. And you gotta love a guy that believes in himself. Um, with that being said,
Well,
let's.
I mean, let's keep it pushing.
I want to just because I love Waldo Cortes-Acosta's story of being in the Cincinnati Reds farm team system, being an ex-major league pitcher, could throw a 94-mile-an-hour fastball with location. So obviously could throw right-handed with location. That being said,
At the
got kicked out of the Reds organization for fighting teammates. So see why he's a
story,
fighter.
I mean, truth is stranger than fiction, right? Like if there was some like MMA, this is some bullshit against Hollywood fucking cornball shit. Like truth is stranger than fiction. Like get kicked out of the MLB for fighting, make it to the UFC. having a good start to your career. I mean, Hollywood story, dude. I feel you. There's a reason why this guy's the featured prelim on a arena fight, and I'll be real though. I mean, every fight of his is the exact same, where he just eats 90 million leg kicks and then just throws piss missiles, which is entertaining. It's fun to watch. I just keep waiting for it to not work, and I guess I'm gonna have to keep waiting, partner.
Yeah, I guess you're gonna have to because he throws about 25 overhand right just piss missiles, and like probably 6 of them in the whole fight connected. But like one of them super mattered, another one hurt a lot, and like 2 of them or 3 of them got blocked. But even when they get blocked, like they crack, man.
Yeah. Oh, so this power.
Also,
It's one of those converting speed to power type of power, right? Like it's so fast and hits so hard. It's not like looping, or it's like a speed to power type of deal.
oh, I also wanted to make a quick note because I just remembered it. In the Caceres-Chikaze fight, for anyone that missed it, we just did a previous episode breakdown of it. Caceres broke his arm in the first round blocking a kick and fought the last 2 rounds of the broken arm. I forgot to mention that.
I know, but he's a dog.
Credit.
Real quick, I'll touch on that too. So, like I said, I watched the fights late, so I actually saw that spoiler, and the whole fight, I was like waiting for like the moment where it happened, or like I couldn't
You
tell.
don't even know.
Guy's
Yeah,
an absolute dog. Yeah,
absolute
no,
dog.
sure,
Now that being said, I thought Brzeski was a dog. To relate it back to it, ate some of those piss missiles until one came through ultra strong. Like there was a right that like distanced his head from his hands.
literally like had him doing the Johnny Walker roller skate routine. Like he was a fucking inflatable tube arm guy. It was Johnny Walker, Jamal Hill esque, the knockout. Like that's the first thing that came to my mind. There's been other ones, but that's the one that comes to my mind where a guy just like loses equilibrium and like becomes like Jello body. Like you know what I'm saying? Like he separated him from his equilibrium. It was a piss missile, right? Which they said every Waldo Cortes-Acosta fight visually looks exactly the same, because that is the path to beating him. Like leg kick him to dog, like to shit, test the cardio, get him to the 3rd round. He just lost a decision in his last fight, but you better have a granite chin, because he will land a couple of those rights. And I guess that's why he doesn't bother checking the kicks. It's just like, all right, leg kick versus right hand. Let's get it. Like I'll take my odds.
Yeah, which is one of those like, if we're gonna start betting over unders once again, if we like Waldo Cortes-Acosta to win, we should take the under because the leg kicks are gonna add up. So for him to win an over probably isn't as good. Let's just see. I'm sure over under.
Well, he does
crazy.
have 2 decision wins over Branderon and Sherman before the decision loss. So he's coming off 3 decisions before this.
This is one where we pretty much would have probably lost our ass then, because over 1.5. Oh no. Oh shit! Under 1.5 was plus 230 on this fight.
Yeah, see, I don't know if I would have bet it though. But I would have took a peek at that Tapology, saw the 3 decisions coming in, and been probably scared off of it. To be honest, I know myself as a bettor.
I'm just wondering
but,
what
you're
is
right. There was value to be
had. But what does Brzeski's record look like? Because you could have looked at it the other way too.
Brzeski coming into this one
got decisions. We would have bet decisions. We probably would have no bet for minus.
Yeah,
that big odds
for sure. I would have bet Cortes-Acosta though. I'm not super high on Brzeski, and he's struggled with this style of guy. Boudet is a striker. So yeah, Waldo Cortes-Acosta, he gets the first round knockout, right hand. Like we said, it was spectacular fashion. I believe he doesn't get a bonus. Easily could have. You could argue should have. That was a highlight as fuck. He's getting to the point where he kind of matters, right? I mean, heavyweight's not the deepest. They need young talent. He's 10-1. His only loss is to Rogerio de Lima, that's a quality loss, and it was a decision. He's 3-1 in the UFC, was 2-0 in LFA, 1-0 in Bellator, and 1-0 in the Contender Series. I mean, the guy's got a resume. I mean, he kind of matters. I think, I can't think of another heavyweight prospect. I mean, Boudet is probably up there too. You can maybe match them up. They have a common opponent that they both beat, and Boudet was a split decision. He finished him in the first round. So you could do Cortes-Acosta versus Boudet if you want to. Rogerio de Lima's 14, who was his last loss. Rodrigo Nascimento just entered the rankings at 15. You get or Romanov. Romanov's a tough matchup for him, but maybe not. He's so much faster than Romanov. Every advantage that you could give Romanov on the grappling and the strength and the size, you could easily just counter that and be like, I mean, Romanov's going to eat so many right hands. And Romanov's looked like shit his past couple of fights. So I don't know. It just depends how fast they're trying to build him. I kind of like, he's interesting, man. He's one to watch. I don't want to say I'm all in or shovel coal or I'm buying the stock, but like, I'll do the old Brennan Fitzgerald one to watch. It's kind of a cop out.
He's a guy that has a story that the UFC can sell, which I think is always super important, right? Like, the UFC is always trying to build a guy with stuff outside of their fighting, which for a lot of guys they don't have.
It doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt, right? It doesn't hurt.
I mean, they'll leech to anything they fucking can. I've seen them do a Jared Cannonier promo where they talked about him believing in the power of crystals. Okay, so they'll do any fucking thing they can. And they can't tell me they won't because they did that with Jared Cannonier about crystals.
Yeah, Cortes-Acosta's story is way more interesting for sure.
Thank you.
But yeah, man, I mean, that wraps up the prelims. I mean, I thought it was some gas prelims, bro. We had so many finishes. We had two, like, epic comebacks. Like, we had, like, two, like, debatably two comeback of the year candidates, a round of the year candidate. We got a performance bonus. Should have had multiple performance bonuses. I don't know. I have nothing. I mean, I was super hyped on these prelims. They were gassed.
I agree with you. I know you're a little short on time here. I just wanted to say
we're doing all right.
Next
we're doing all right. Honestly, I probably got about 10 minutes with you if you want.
Sweet. I was going to ask you next week. Fareed Basharat. Big favorite against Clegerson Rodriguez. I like that fight. Reese McKee, underdog against Angelosa. Probably going to look into that.
I'm betting Angelosa. I like Angelosa now.
Yeah, I want to look into over-unders on that. Jocelyn Edwards fighting a new French girl, Nora Cornole, in
France. I can't stand Jocelyn Edwards, so I'm not stoked for that.
Zara Farn, which I believe is a women's featherweight, fighting Jacqueline Cavalcanti.
Who the fuck is that guy?
Yeah, exactly. Taylor Lapoulos fighting Muin Gafarov. Honestly, Gafarov a dog here at plus 160.
Plus 160?
Don't hate the Gafarov because he's only fighting like 3 hours behind his natural time zone. So it's almost like if we were fighting in like California. Like, it's not that big of a deal.
Well, and these Tajik guys are dogs, and I'm not sold on these French guys yet. So
fully agree. And then Morgan Charriere.
This card is ass, bro. Terrible. Who the fuck are these people?
You got Giannis Gimori versus Cowlin Loughran. Who the fuck knows? Lucas Almeida versus William Gomez. I want to know what the number is because I want Lucas Almeida all fucking day in that fight.
They got it. The UFC website, which is often wrong, has him at plus 140 right now. So we might be liking some dogs.
Oh,
Two-legger with him and the Tajik guy?
Already good. Keep listening. You're gonna be shocked in two fights. So Ozdemir fighting a debut guy, Bogdan Guskov. Ozdemir minus 190. Who the fuck is Bogdan Guskov?
Yeah, I'll say this though. If they're gonna make that match, he might be pretty fucking good. He may be one of these Olaskarov guys.
Yeah, but he has a loss to Vasilevsky in 2020 in the first round in 3 minutes, and like Vasilevsky's a beast, but like.
Was it a knockout? Because we know Ozdemir has power.
Yeah, Bogdan got TKO'd in 3 minutes.
That might be an over-under to check out.
Okay, here's where the odds get absolutely fucking dog wild. Benoit Saint Denis minus 160. Thiago Moises plus 135. Thiago Moises is an underdog against Benoit Saint Denis?
But didn't Saint Denis look fucking fantastic his last fight? Am I tripping?
Yeah, but Moises is off 2 wins. And, like, he lost to Makhachev and Alvarez in his last 2 fights.
Yeah, that Alvarez isn't aging well, though.
Yeah, I agree, but he got caught.
And you're forgetting that, St. Denis is coming off the Bonfim win, bro.
I think Vegas is very much overvaluing that.
Okay, that's a fair
because
argument
what do we talk about? We talked about how Bonfim maybe wasn't as good as we thought because that's only the second time we'd seen him.
And that was the not as good Bonfim brother. I think the welterweight one's
Exactly, and
the good one.
that's what else we talked about.
Yeah,
I think there's a lot of
you
value
know
in that.
you know what though? If I'm gonna bet Moises, I'm gonna squeeze the juice and do by sub.
Well, but they're
And
both super good on the ground. That's the thing.
what you thinking by decision? Over? You
I think
just
the
straight up money
decision. I
line?
like the over. I like the over. I like the over. I think they
Okay,
neutralize each other
okay.
very well. I think it's a very like close dogfight. But I definitely
I
think Moises is better.
This Fiora Rose fight, I don't know how to feel because Rose, at least on the UFC website, plus 164, Fiora minus 200.
So they have Fiora
Um,
minus 180 plus 155 right now in Caesars for plus 155
so,
Rose.
so I just don't know how to feel about it because Fiora, obviously, this is the hardest fight of her career. Rose up a weight class. And then which Rose is like kind of like Ryan Spann, like who's going to show up? Like if the Rose that head kicked Wei Lee, if I could get some insider info that like I'm guaranteed to get that Rose, I'll take the dog. I'll take the plus money. But also if we're getting like the timid fucking Carla Esparza Rose up a weight class against a young lioness, then I understand why Vegas made that money line. You know what I'm saying? This is probably a no bet for me.
Yeah, I'm not going to bet this one. And listen, according to Schaub, who's never, literally never right, which I know we hated on him super hard last podcast. Probably should again. It's good for ratings. Yeah,
Dunk.
dunk him. He's been talking about how he's nervous for Rose ever being a champion again in 115 because apparently she's back in like that like weird headspace. And he kind of dropped that in a conversation outside of people asking him about this fight, and like he's just dumb enough to forget that she has this fight coming up. So what I think is like, and he's from Colorado, like trained at that camp. Trevor Whitman was his coach. Like I
He's
will
plugged in
say,
over there.
yeah, I will say if he has any plugs, it is that camp for sure. I don't love that at all. And Manon Fiorot is a fucking straight assassin.
Savage. Yeah.
Savage. So I actually like that minus 180. I do love a decision here, especially in a 3-round fight. I don't think either of those girls are going to finish each other.
Fair. Can you peep that over under number?
Yeah, I definitely can. I definitely can. Let's see. The over under. Oh, they don't even have it. These fuckers.
It's all good. We'll figure it out closer to the fight day. Now Spivak gone. Am I too recency biased to think that Spivak's just going to grab a hold of him and do whatever he wants? Now that blueprint exists, because Tuivasa was never going to do that, right? Which is the last fight gone. Derek Lewis was never going to really do that. Really, the only guy that was ever going to – Francis was able to grab a hold of him and do whatever he wanted. John Jones – now, Spivak is not Francis or John Jones, so that's where the debate begins here. And I got Spivak as plus 150 on my website. Like, that's looking tempting. That's a guy that cannot grapple, that will not grapple. Like,
Here's all I'm going to say. Spivak lost to Walt Harris in his UFC debut in 50 seconds KO. Not necessarily going to hold it against him because, debuted 2019, whatever. Then, one of the first COVID fights Marcin Tybura, loses a decision. That's a tough fight. He beat Tai Tuivasa by submission the fight before that in his second UFC fight. That was before Tai Tuivasa left the UFC and then came back. So I'm just keeping it in perspective, right? Then he beats Carlos Felipe, who tested positive for steroids, got kicked out of the UFC. Remember we said Nate Diaz, Brazilian? That was Carlos Felipe.
yeah.
Hilarious, dude, which also hilarious he tested positive for steroids because he's fat as shit. Then he beats Vanderraa by KO. Okay, not in the UFC. Then he beats Oleinik by decision. I will say that shows grappling ability. Then he loses to Aspinall KO 2 minutes in. Then he beats Greg Hardy, Augusto Sakai, and then Derek Lewis. As nice as it looks, I just can't get with Spivak having the most impressive record, and I like Gane's fight history more.
Yeah, maybe this will end up being a no bet. We definitely got Michael. Leave your prediction in the comments. What's your thoughts on Spivak Gane? Because I'll let you be the tiebreaker here. I don't know, bro. I just think Gane's has like negative 1,000 grappling, and Spivak just finished Derek Lewis with a choke. So
I mean, I will give you that in Gon's career. Just let me list his fights real quick. It'll be fast, I know, because you got to go after this. But Rafael Pessoa is his first fight in the UFC. Well, no one cares, right? Then he fights Dontel Mays, not the best grappler, submits him in the third round.
No.
Then he fights Tanner Boser, not a grappler. Then he fights JDS, not a grappler. Then he fights Jairzinho Rozenstruik, not a grappler. Then he fights Volkov, not a grappler. Then he fights Derek Lewis, not a grappler. Then he loses to Ngannou, not a grappler. Then he
got out-grappled.
Got out-grappled bad. Then he beats Tai Tuivasa. Then he loses to Jones.
Not a grappler.
Once again, got out-grappled bad by a guy that is a very good grappler.
Saying, bro. That's what I was doing. Spivak.
I think some Spivak juice. I think some Spivak juice is very much there. The two losses in Strogon's career, actually, now I'm looking at it, are against two guys that out-grappled him, and they're high-level guys. And Spivak has high-level grappling, so I can see Gon literally getting taken down. And maybe I like the Spivak submission juice.
Yeah, bro, that's literally like you're speaking my language. Like that's all the same.
Are we talking Turkey now? Are we talking the same?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, I think I'm taking Spivak by sub, straight bet. You're definitely going to get like plus 300 at least. That sounds nice.
At least, yeah, I like that. I like that. But that is for next week, and that will wrap up this week's show.
Yes, sir. Appreciate your time, bro. Like and subscribe. Thanks for everybody that watches. And let's go win some money next week on this Gon Spivak card, and let's actually watch it at the correct time.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. Although it starts at, just so you know, main card starts at noon your time.
Perfect. Won't fuck that up.
Right. So prelims start at like 9 your time.
Yeah, no, that'll be perfect actually, because I think I work at 5 that day. But yeah, dude, appreciate your time, man. Fun episode. Wraps up UFC Singapore, and yeah, follow us on X. Like our X posts.
Yeah, our X. We are very active on X. Shout out to DMAC. We get a lot of pub with fighters. Like they respond to us. So come follow us on X. We tweet live all the time.